from Thiago Monteiro, and Monteiro is now going to be fighting off the rest of the field because Muller's already done enough to be gone, hasn't he? Monteiro now is actually going to lose sight of him round some of these corners.
Yeah, but Muller needs to get the hammer down hard, because if Monteiro can stay in his slipstream down the long straight, that'll pull him back and keep him in touch with the Frenchman.
Jumping out of Moorish Hill and down to Donna Maria. They're all in line astern formation here. You have to make a big mistake to allow somebody to get by you on these narrow city streets. Oh, Pepe Oriola really pushing behind a tyre-smoking red and white Chevy, and that is Tom Chilton. He's behind the two red Chevrolets. Those two red Chevys, with Alex McDowell in front of James Nash, are the Bamboo cars. There are other red Chevys, and of course the red Larders further back down the field.
Just coming around Melco now, Martin, and what's going to be interesting to see is we've got 4 Chevys right up the exhaust pipe of Michelitz's Honda, and the Chevys, their big strong point is straight line, so if they can work together, they should be able to outdraft him down this section.
I don't see what has happened to James Thompson. The first of the Larders on the road is Mikhail Kozlowski. Thompson is right at the back of the field, so something dramatic happened. We didn't see a big accident, but Thompson has sunk like a stone, and I'm not quite sure why that might be. Muller almost 2 seconds clear at the end of lap 1, so he's doubled almost his qualifying advantage over Thiago Monteiro in race trim. Huff right behind in 3rd place. Remember, Huff 5 times a winner on the streets here. He would love to say goodbye to the All Inkle Motorsport team as one of their drivers with a win. Don't think he's going to win in race 1. This could be a dress rehearsal for race 2. 4th place battle, the orange and black Zengo Motorsport Honda. That's Norbert Michelitz ahead of Alex McDowell, James Nash, Tom Chilton and Pepe Oriola. So the Chevys queuing up behind the Hondas.
We've got a little bit of a scrap going between Nash and Chilton in 6th and 7th at the moment, and Nash has got to be careful because of his independent points, but they're obviously really, really close to each other for 3rd and 4th in the championship. I mean, this is an ultimate podium at the end of the year.
Yeah, absolutely right. And of course, the prize giving here in Macau, Sunday night dinner. As Andy Prieur always said, every single race of the year, every single point is vital. You don't want to come to Macau being 1 short on Sunday night is not a nice place to be. Yellow flags out in Sector 2 as well as down to the Melco hairpin, and the All Inkle team are looking a little bit disappointed. Why is that? Thompson is in the pits, so he is out of the race at the moment. Not quite sure what the problem there is. Meanwhile, Thiago Monteiro holding off Huffy for 2nd spot.
He's holding Huffy off, but I had to put money on it. I think I put money on Huffy doing him before the end. As long as that seat can look after its tyres. Oh, here's Tomo.
Tomo in the pits, and that is not good now. He had a power steering problem at the end of free practice 1, which basically ruled him out of FP2. They got it fixed for qualifying. Could it be that it's reared its ugly head after morning warm-up in race 1? Would be really tough luck as well.
Ooh.
Oh, Chilton eased out of the way, to say the least. Well, did he lose it before? There's Chile, Graham Chilton, his dad. Won't be very pleased with that, I don't think. Graham here, rather than being in Austin watching Max in Formula 1. Because the time difference, of course, one will be in the middle of the night for the other one, and Chilton trying to get back to the pits, as you can see at the Melco hairpin. Even when the car is all but stationary, it's nearly impossible to get by. Wreck left front, right rear's still got air in it. Looks like it's actually quite straight as well. Back with Monteiro and Huff for 2nd place. So Chilton's hopes of being runner-up in the championship, I think, are all done. That means James Nash now really needs to get a move on and try and pick up some places, because from here, even 5th place in race 1, 6th place in race 1 as he is now, that's not going to be enough to get through.
The 2 Hondas definitely look the corks in the bottles, both Huff and McDowell behind them.
Well, Rob Huff starting to run out of ideas at the moment to try and get by Thiago Monteiro. It's unlikely to happen in the twisty bits. There's James Thompson back out of the pits. So whatever it was, the team have made a quick fix, and Tomo is out to try and see whether the fix has fixed it.
Yeah, he's got no scrapes or bumps on the car, so it must be something mechanical.
Well, I would assume either it was misfiring badly or it was steering. Again, more tyre smoke. What's going on down there? The marshals are not looking back away from the camera, so nobody's gone off.
Yeah, one of them's having a barbecue.
Somebody's having a major lock-up there, but that is, as you can see from the colour of the road there, that's not road cars that are leaving these marks. That's where the race cars leave the marks. Down into Donna Maria, everybody locks up, and then into the yellow flag segment. That was another reason why they were cautious, the tail enders, to pass Tom Chilton, because of course it's yellow flags. You're not supposed to pass anybody, but he made it quite evident that they were going to have to pass him.
Tom's car does look fairly...
Yeah, pretty second-hand, as it was after free practice too. Hit the wall quite hard. Very similar spot, actually. Oh, goodness me! Now that was Pepe, who has clattered the wall again.
That's where Tom went off in...
That's what the tyre smoke was from. Yeah, we didn't see what caused the tyre smoke. The tyre smoke was Pepe. That's exactly, you're right, where Tom Chilton went off in free practice. And Oriola has wrecked the car there. So he was seventh.
At the moment, Montero just seems to be doing enough during the twisty section.
Pepe is still seventh, so clearly not as wrecked as it looked like it should have been after clattering the wall. If you hit the wall here and you've still got all the air in your tyres, that's a minor miracle. Huff looking to the inside. Montero just has enough to keep the Seat at bay. So there's not much wrong with the Castrol Honda's power unit. This is one of the quickest drags on any circuit, and that includes Monza, and they are staying out of harm's reach. Michelitz, McDowell couldn't get by him, and Montero, Huff couldn't get by him either. So we know that the Seat's got a strong engine. We know that the Chevy's strong in a straight line. So these two Hondas, the Castrol Honda and the Zengo Honda there, the black and orange car, are doing a good job in keeping their rivals behind. And Tom Chilton's doing a good job in keeping his mechanics busy, isn't he? Again, that's damage that we saw in free practice, same corners. It did look, though, from the replay we saw as if Pepe Oriola had got into the back of him under braking. Debris being thrown up there, not from Norby's car, but I guess either from Tom's or from Pepe's. The race has settled down a little. So it's Muller on his own, 2.6 away from Montero and Huff, who are tied together by a very short bit of elastic.
It's closing up a bit, Martin.
Yeah, Michelitz is closing up on Hoffy, who is dropping away a little from Montero. So we're getting Montero, pours Huff, pours Michelitz, McDowell, Nash. Oriola has dropped away, but is still seventh. Mark Basseng, 8th. Stefano D'Aste, 9th. Tom Boardman, 10th. Ahead of Tom Coronel by a Nats. And that is end of the race for James Thompson. Now, that's not a crisis for race 2, unless it's something critical underneath the bonnet. If it can be fixed, he can still start race 2 on the front row. Of course, he's not going to win any championship points in this race, but that's not the point. The point is to get the car onto the podium here if they can. And with a front row start, you know that Tomo will fix it himself if he has to.
I was hoping with the bamboo cars and Huffy were going to start giving these Hondas a hard time and give us something to shout about, but...
Well, behind, look at this, Oriola, the blue Chevy, with Basseng and D'Aste behind, and those two slipstreaming together will go as quickly as the Chevy. Then the Toms, Boardman and Coronel. Boardman got in front of Tom Coronel after the start.
One of his wing mirrors Oriola has.
Yeah, well, that'll be that clout with the wall that saw him bouncing up in the air.
I'm amazed it's as straight as it is.
I know, astonishing, isn't it? It's a pretty choppy bit of road, but all the same, it was dramatically sideways. And D'Aste having a little look at Basseng as they come up San Francisco Hill to Maternity Bend. And that is Hugo Vallant, who had a big shunt in qualifying. Thought for a while that his car might not make it through to Sunday, but the Campos Racing team had 2 out of their 3 cars crashed in qualifying, fixed them both, and Vallant. And that's the classic Lisboa accident, isn't it? Just outbraking yourself and rolling into the tyres out of the way.
Yeah, they're coming from a speed 160 mile an hour into heavy braking zone, which is 250 kilometers an hour.
And it's about a 40 mile an hour corner.
It's slow.
Just about, yeah. You feel you're pushing it as you turn in at something like 40 miles an hour. If you want to have a look, find Thiago Monteiro on Twitter. He posted a lap from qualifying from on board. It's a very, very quick circuit. Even this slow bit, it's half the distance of the lap. It's 2/3 of the lap time around the hillsides, but it is so narrow, so choppy. And with the drivers sitting so low, Matt, you've got no visibility around the corners. We can see what's in front of them. They've got no clue.
Well, what a lot of the drivers, because there are so many blind corners, Martin, what a lot of the new drivers used to do is they used to go and make spray marks on the road or on the Armco. And then you get some of the old hands, the sneaky hands, they go and spray over their markings and move them and put them a couple of meters further up the road. And, I mean, it's all the gamesmanship from drivers to teams and one or the other.
Well, a few years ago, the RML Chevrolet team invested in clear mirror covers for the driver's side for street circuits. Unfortunately, they were very expensive to make out of Lexan, so once you've broken one, I think that was pretty much you done. But the drivers normally will be looking so much further in front than you can on a street circuit. On board with James Nash, currently lying, as you can see, in 6th position. Teammate Alex McDowell in front. And for Nash and the Yokohama Trophy, all he needs to do is stay where he is. Nash trailing his teammate, doing everything he needs to do. Basseng, though, trying to put a move in on Oriola. He's going a long way around the outside. Not Rennie Munich, that is Mark Basseng, and Dastey gets his nose on the inside, but Basseng is a very wily racer. Not a familiar name to touring car fans, but GT fans will know him well. Mark Basseng's been around the block a long time, the reigning FIA GT1 world champion. And he's still having a go at Oriola, and he sees Pepe drift out wide and has a little look. Doesn't get his nose in there, though. And the incident between 23 Chilton and 74 Oriola will be investigated by the stewards. What we saw, it looked like Pepe got into the back of Tom Chilton, and likely that was an error rather than a deliberate attempt to tap somebody out of the way, because here, Matt, if you thump somebody sideways, the chances are you're going to be in the accident too.
Yeah, but if you thump somebody here, it's going to end up in a lot of tears and expense, and I hope Oriola's got deep pockets after that one, because it's had a fair few repercussions for Tom.
I think so. It's knocked Tom out of race 1 certainly, and potentially out of race 2 as well. We'll wait and see how that works out. At the moment, Oriola in the blue Chevy, number 74, 7th place from Mark Basseng in the Seat and Stefano Dastey, the red, white and green of Italy on his BMW. Where will Dastey race next year? Hugo Vallant is back with Campos Racing, and as always, checking the steering, suspension, brakes, as well as everything else. And Basseng, well, again, you see, Oriola was wide, but they're not in a green flag zone as they get to the apex of the hairpin. So that was a little naughty by Mark Basseng, but he wanted to get a run going on Oriola. Wanted to get it started as quickly as he can. I wonder if Pepe's running into a little bit of braking problems, because it doesn't seem much wrong with the car in a straight line, and yet Basseng's all over him throughout the twisty stuff.
Basseng's going to be struggling to cool his car down before long, and his brakes as well, travelling that close behind him.
Yeah. The air going into those cooling ducts will not be going in at the sort of pressure that it would do in clear air, and it'll be hotter as well, because some of it will be coming out the exhaust of the Chevy. That will lead to overheating. James Thompson watching from the pit wall. We'll have to know what the story is there. We'll have to find out immediately afterwards. Thompson still hopefully going to start on the front row of race 2. Tom Coronel, who's down in 11th place at the moment, will be the pole man. And again, Mark Basseng not close enough. Oh dear. And that's Salco, the youngster from Latvia, who's clattered the wall and is now going very slowly, and that's a shame because he was in 14th place, his first ever World Touring